12-year-old daughter texted me, "Mom, please come, don't call Dad." Then she shared her location. It was a motel. Room 6. That was the pin. A motel off Route 9 that I'd driven past 100 times and never once looked at twice. My daughter Bria was supposed to be at her best friend's sleepover. That's what her father Gavin told me when he dropped her off. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I grabbed my keys and drove. The whole way there, one sentence kept repeating in my skull. Don't call Dad. Bria tells me everything. She tells me when girls are mean to her at school. She tells me when her stomach hurts. She has never once told me not to call her father. I pulled into the motel lot at 9:20 p.m. 12 rooms, half the lights off. The parking lot had 4 cars in it. One of them was Gavin's. My vision tunneled. Why was my ex-husband's car at a motel where my 12-year-old daughter was texting me for help? I walked to room 6. The curtain was drawn, but there was a gap at the bottom. I could see light. I could hear the TV. I knocked. Nothing. I knocked harder. Bria. Footsteps. The door opened 3 inches. A woman I'd never seen before. Mid-30s. Tank top. Smelled like cigarettes. "Can I help you? My daughter is in there. No kids here." She started closing the door. I heard Bria's voice from inside. Small, shaking. "Mom?" I shoved the door open. The woman stumbled back. The room was small. 2 beds. On the far bed, Bria was sitting cross-legged with her shoes still on. She hadn't taken her shoes off. That detail hit me like a truck. My daughter takes her shoes off everywhere. She takes them off at restaurants. She takes them off at the dentist. If her shoes were still on, she was ready to run. "Baby, are you okay?" She nodded, but her chin was trembling. I looked around the room. There was a laptop open on the desk, a camera on a tripod next to the window, 2 ring lights folded against the wall. "What is this?" I asked the woman. She crossed her arms. "I'm a friend of her father's. He asked me to watch her tonight. That's it. Watch her. In a motel. With camera equipment. I'm a photographer." "Where's Gavin?" "He left an hour ago. Said he'd be back by 10. I looked at Bria. "Did he bring you here?" She nodded. "Did he tell you it was a sleepover?" She nodded again. "Was there ever a sleepover?" Her eyes filled. "No." I picked her up. She's 12, but she weighs nothing when she's scared. She wrapped her arms around my neck like she was 5 again. The woman stepped in front of the door. "You can't just take her. Gavin left her with me. I'm responsible. Move. He's going to be upset. Move. Now." She moved. I carried Bria to my car, locked the doors, called 911. I told the dispatcher everything. The motel, the camera, the ring lights, the woman, Gavin's car in the lot, my daughter's text. "Don't call Dad." Officers arrived in 11 minutes. I didn't leave the car. I held Bria in the backseat the entire time. She didn't cry. She just held onto my shirt and breathed. 2 officers went into room 6. They were inside for 14 minutes. When they came out, one of them was carrying the laptop in an evidence bag. The woman was in handcuffs. Her name was Laurel Dufton. She wasn't a photographer. She didn't have a photography business, a website, or a license. What she had was a laptop with over 4,000 files on it. The detective told me that part later, not that night. That night, all they told me was that Bria was safe and that I needed to bring her to the station in the morning. Gavin pulled into the motel lot 20 minutes after the arrest. He saw the cruisers. He saw my car. He made a U-turn and drove away. They picked him up at his apartment 2 hours later. He told the officers Laurel was a family friend. He said he didn't know about the camera equipment. He said Bria was supposed to be at a sleepover, and he had no idea how she ended up at the motel. Bria's interview the next morning took 45 minutes. She told the forensic interviewer that Gavin had driven her to the motel himself. He introduced Laurel as a nice lady who was going to take some pictures for a modeling portfolio. He told Bria it was a surprise for me, a birthday gift. My birthday isn't for 4 months. Gavin was charged on 3 counts. Laurel was charged on 6. The judge granted me sole custody before the end of the week. No visitation, no calls, no letters. Bria started therapy 8 days later. She still sleeps with her shoes by the bed, not under it, not in the closet, right next to the mattress, laces untied, pointed at the door. Her therapist says it's a readiness behavior. She wants to know she can leave. I asked her once why she texted me instead of calling. She said, "Because if I called, you'd hear my voice and you'd know I was scared, and then you'd call Dad, and Dad was the problem." She was 12, and she was smarter than every adult in the room.